It is a quite a complex construction because it's comprising modern on the new extension and also the old aspect of the existing church itself. So it's mixing the traditional and new construction. Well, we've obviously got here at St Mary's our stone fixer masons, and we've also got flint knappers that have been doing it for many years. They're all within the structure of Bakers of Danbury.
We're very much aware from records, luckily again being a city centre church, there's very good records around what happened here. So you already knew the Victorians kind of went a bit crazy with the concrete in terms of trying to stop the damp ingress. But otherwise I think that what was fantastic and quite surprising was that hammer beam roof, apart from being a medieval roof, was actually in surprisingly good repair. So yeah, it wasn't too many surprises. The fact that it's a church in an urban location, it's right in the city centre in Ipswich, so it kind of married the two. There was that opportunity to regenerate it, because the most important thing about regenerating church buildings is to have the backing of the community around it and have a community that will help support it.
Our mother had a lot to do with the church. She only lived a few hundred yards up the road, and she spent a lot of time on the place, didn't she? And she fought to have the font returned, because I can't remember where it went.
I truly can't remember, but it was another church outside of Ipswich, and she wanted it returned to its, as she said, rightful place here. And she did. She fought long and hard, and our nephew was the last person to be baptised using that font within these walls.
It's a pity to change it all. Some people think that it's this everlasting problem. If you're going to preserve a building, either you pay to preserve it just as a museum piece without any use, or you find a use for it. And here a use has been found for it, and a very good use too, I think.
It's nice to go and look at the detailing and all the rest of it, but it's good to have a use for them in the long run. I mean, buildings need to be used. If they're just left, they deteriorate, and it's rather sad, isn't it, when you see that? So, to have a heritage centre as well is great. No, I think that's absolutely fine. And well done. Long may it continue.
Although the actual craftsmanship in making and repairing the stonework is exactly the same, what we don't seem to realise is that now we don't have to lift that. Everything had to be lifted. When you consider that for thousands of years the most powerful thing we had was a horse, and the heaviest thing that trod on the land was a horse, and when you look around you now, you see the leaps and bounds that have come really in just a little less than 100 years. It's absolutely fantastic.
It's just to come and see this church, which I've known about for a long time and which has been closed for a long time. So today's been really great to do that. But to come in and find this brass plate was really interesting to me, because looking at it, it's a transition in many ways, because the carving is still quite deep, unlike the later ones, and when you look at the dress, the headdress still has this of the woman still has the pointed top. So it's good to see this, and I'm really pleased to hear that you're going to hope to get the original back in its right place, which is terribly important, because that's where they should be.
It's nice to see the church, coming to life again, and it being used to keep people well. And I think that churches traditionally got a history of places of quietness where people can reflect and come for their own spiritual beliefs. But I think that the way that the church is moving forward with what Suffolk Mind is doing, giving people the opportunity to stay well, to come to a place of quietness again, some new opportunities. I think really for me it's just to see how it's developing and how the project is growing and changing all the time, and all the stories behind what they've found as the church has been excavated, really. So yeah, and it's just nice to see all the hard work paying off at last.
I think the fact that they've spent money on it and bringing it back to such a beautiful
The fabric of the
church.
church was so important to her as well, and it looks so lovely already, though not finished, but already it looks so beautiful. So yes, she would be pleased.
And helping the community as well.
Yes,
You know,
yeah, very much so.
she would absolutely. Well, she's probably watching over it right
Yes.
now. And if they do something wrong, they'll know.
Yes.